Hello, welcome back. We are going to play Entity today. This is the solo storytelling NASA punk game by Peter Schultz. It's very awesome. This is when printed. It looks really, really cool. Some awesome artwork in and a very, very fun game. We are now on our 5th session following our AI astronaut. Welcome, as they explore the strange alien landscape that they find themselves in, attempting to build structures and facilities to assist them in discovering information about the world, which is what they were created for, to go out, discover about the universe at large. We will continue Welcome's mission. Thank you very much for joining me for playing Entity. If you do enjoy what you're seeing, please feel free to hit the old thumb, likey. If you'd like to see more of what I do, and I normally release on a Tuesday, a Thursday and a Saturday, Australia time. Saturday is more sort of skirmish games at the moment. Tuesday and Thursday are role-playing games, such as these, either guided or of the more choose your own adventure, or the more free form that we've been doing, say with Twilight 2000 and more recently Call of Cthulhu. But if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing, and then you can follow along in the growing community of us who are solo role-playing. But for now, let us catch up with Welcome. So Welcome has already constructed a navigational a geospatial analysis laboratory to help with navigating this new world where Welcome finds themselves. We have a, what was it? It was a, we have built a xenobiology laboratory, which has given us a +1 to our biology score. The navigation, the geospatial lab has given us a re-roll on 1 navigation roll. And we are in the process of attempting to build a alien flora repository, so a large cataloguing system to catalogue the flora on this planet where we find ourselves, and this will give us a re-roll on our biology action roll. So we have 3 aspects are needed for the re-rolls. For the advantage, for the +1s. So we have 3 aspects required. We have already acquired 1. We have 2 remaining, and in Entity, it's very much like Notorious in that we have, or a lot of these games, because even the Cthulhu game works in a loop fashion. So our loop here is an exploration loop. We go out on a variety of expeditions, attempting to explore the world around us, and we loop back doing a side quest on a continuous basis, trying to acquire what's called aspects within the game, but major pieces of information or technology or resources to allow us to build these structures to then enhance us. So one of the interesting things about this game is it's continuous. So if something happens to Welcome runs out of battery or dies, there's no real concept of time, because everything is an artificial intelligence. Welcome has no concept of time. Things may take days, seconds, months, years, millennium. It doesn't matter. And so the structures that we build will stay within the game world that we're playing. And so if Welcome perishes and a new artificial intelligence becomes aware of this planet, they can begin using the structures that have already been constructed. We also have built our first upgrade to Welcome, which was an advanced digital analysis thing, which was, hold on, I'll say it properly, which was an advanced diagnostic algorithms device, which for 3 energy used, we can gain advantage on an information technology roll. So that's 5 minutes of your life you won't get back. Let us begin our exploration. So Welcome has been trying to look at the flora on this strange planet where they find themselves. And first off, we will now, after getting our first aspect, we will begin the first step, which is to find something that may help us to gain another aspect, and that is a location to study. Now, the one thing, Peter, if you watch this one, Peter Schultz, the location table is quite far down, whereas having the location table being one of the first things in the list of table would make more sense to me, because I'm going to the locations and then I'd be going to the challenges and maybe the opportunities and the findings. So the way that you would engage with them, it would make more sense doing that in that order. Beyond that, it's a beautiful book and I love the game. So let's find a location. And we've also had 2 discoveries. So a location to look at, first dice 10s, 05, a silica sand desert. Well, that's cool, because when we our first thing to do about the floor, we found a grey ash dunes. So silicate sand desert, a wide expanse of glimmering silicate sand. That's quite cool. That sinks in together. So a lot of the places where we're looking for the flora within the planet seems to be in weird dune places. Maybe there's some specific types of flora in these areas. So we have located this desert, this expanse of silica that we are going to travel towards to try and investigate further and find out more about the flora on the planet to build our repository, our cataloguing system. So what we now have is a travel encounter. I'm going to call that a 9. Are we happy to call that a 9? Came out, was there, 9? 9 is an opportunity. So on our way there, we encounter something which we may be able to take advantage of. Oh, actually, let's say what we see on the way there, so as we can try and interpret things a bit easier. What we'll see in the sky, I think we've been doing what we see in the distance a fair bit, and we've been seeing a lot of monoliths. So let's see what we see in the sky on the way to the desert. I'll call that a 53. 53, clear view of a distant stellar nursery full of bright points. Okay, so on the way, the sky is very clear. So a clear view of a distant stellar nursery full of bright points. Now, what is our opportunity that we find on the way? 61. You discover a living energy source, a creature that generates power that can be harnessed. Gain 4 energy on a success. Okay, so we can use biology, chemistry, or survival. Our biology has gone up by 2, which will give us a total of 5. Our survival is a 3, which would give us 8. And our chemistry is a 2, which gives us 5. So our survival is an 8. So we might use survival to attempt to investigate this strange energy. So these let's say these are crystalline type creatures. I think we had crystal conduits, and we found a large crystal in the grey ash dunes. So maybe this is a crystalline creature. I've got this. There was these Lego sets with these strange they were mining. They were like mining the moon, I think, as we soon will be for helium-3. And they came across these creatures who are the aliens, who are like these strange, blocky, crystalline things. I've got that image in my head. So we've come across crystal creatures that generate their own energy. So we don't have to actually like harvest. We can just tap them for their power. It's like a battery, a living battery that recharges. And maybe they eat the silica. Maybe that's where the silica comes from. So the crystal creatures are in around the silica. So as we reach the edge of the desert and start to explore the desert, which may take years to explore this desert to get anything useful, we come across these silicate creatures. And so we can then use our survival skills that we have our data files on survival to gain 4 energy on a success. We've already got 3 energy, we've got no resources and 1 data. So what we've got, we have a survival of 8, so we need to roll 8s and under. 5 and 5, double 8, which is success. So we successfully create some nano machines that we attach to a bunch of these crystalline creatures. What should we call them? What should we call these crystalline creatures? a table that we can get some sort of keywords from. Themes. Okay, let's use this themes table. We'll roll 2 numbers. We'll go 53 and 34. So 53 disease, 34 expedition. That doesn't work. So let's go 43 opportunity and 35 advantage. Opportunity, advantage, Opad. These are Opads. So we harness some of the Opads for their energy producing properties, and we let them go free again and roam around the edges of the Silica Desert. And now as we're at the Silica Desert, so we have, now we need to roll a d10. Now we need 10s and above to get an aspect. We have 1 data remaining. I'm going to burn that 1 remaining data. Now we could use, we do have our adapted resource converter, but we don't have any resources to actually convert. So we only have a +1 to this. Let's see what we get. We get an 8. So an 8 gives us a challenge and an opportunity. So no aspect today, but we need a challenge and an opportunity, and to get everything, we need to pass everything along here. So our challenge. So whilst exploring this silicate desert, 10. Sudden fluctuations, oh, we've had this. Sudden fluctuations of gravity threaten your progress and stability. So the gravity is going out from under us. Maybe it's all the conduits around here. So we need to try and, so we've got engineering, physics, survival and robotics. Engineering is a 5, physics is a 6, survival we know is an 8, and robotics is a 6. So we're going to utilize our survival skills, as that makes most statistical sense, and we're going to attempt to keep our balance and stay within the sections of this silicate desert so as not to be adversely affected by these gravity changes. This is 8s again. Oh, we've got a 4 and a 5. So both under 8. So we successfully use our knowledge of how to manipulate the areas of the dunes to protect ourselves from what seems to be weird gravitational fluxes in the area and keep ourselves grounded and not get flown around too much. We do get flown around a bit, but not enough to actually injure us. And now we have, we encounter an opportunity, something that may benefit us. 91. An abandoned terraforming facility may still hold usable resources. Gain 3 resources on a success. Okay, so we've found a terraforming environment. So maybe that's what's causing these gravitational fluxes. So we're going to attempt to get in there. Now we've got engineering, biology, chemistry and IT. Oh, if we use IT, we might be able to get our advantage. At 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 7 for IT. Engineering is a 5. Biology is a 5. Chemistry is a 5. So IT is our highest with 7s. And we also can pay 3 energy to get advantage, which we might do because it means we get to try the advantage thing. So we're going to utilize, we're going to burn 3 energy as we fire up some nanites utilizing the advanced diagnostic algorithm tool. So we're going to utilize that to gain advantage on our IT roll to attempt to basically turn this terraforming. Maybe the terraforming unit is what created the Silica Desert, and that's what's caused the problems. But we're going to attempt to basically turn this off. So we get advantage, so that means we can take the highest one away, which is a 6, which gives us a 3 and a 3, which is a hard success. We gain 3 resources as we're able to turn the facility, power the facility down. Maybe we put it into hibernation mode because we might need it at some point. So we turn this abandoned terraforming facility, power it down into a sort of a sleep mode, a hibernation mode, and we're able to stop the gravitational fluxes in the area, which maybe will help our Opads, the creatures, the Opads, and allow them to be able to flourish in this area. So we're now going to go on the long trek back to our main base and see if we can use, I might get data, because data is quite useful in this game. Even though building up resources to get upgrades is good, I think we're going to do an investigation to try and get extra data. Where's our side quests? Side activities. So we are going to attempt to collect extra data, which is our analytics trait, +4, which is 7s. So we will try and get, and then we would be able to get 3, because we'd get, which I did wrong in the first game, I remember saying that. We gain our analytics trait value in data. So we're going to attempt to process a lot of the data on the long trek back and see if we can glean any pieces of information out. Basically try and scrape it for anything useful. A 9 and a 3, which is a partial success, which means we'd only get 1 because it's rounded down. So we might try and spend 2 energy to utilize the integrated multi-tool, which will do some additional analysis and allow us to re-roll this. 7, what is it? What was it again? This was our analytics, which is 3, +4, which is 7. So that gives us a 7, which matches, and then a 3, which gives us a full success. So we get 3 data, which is analytics. So we're back at base again. And so being back at base, we will continue to do processing and try and find some other interesting place in the area. We've looked at the, we still need 2 aspects. We've looked at the Great Ash Dunes and then the Silica Desert. And now we'll look at 43. Silica again. This is Silica Glass Desert. A vast desert composed entirely of naturally forming silica glass shimmering under the stars. We seem to have a weirdly rolling. So this is silica and the other one was silicate. S-I-L-I-C-A-T-E. Sand Desert was the previous one. This is S-I-L-I-C-A. Glass Desert. And so what we'll see in the distance as we trace off towards it, 51, a gleaming ice field stretching out into the distance. So next to that we've got, so maybe the gleaming ice field isn't ice, it's glass. And let's see what we've, on our way to the Silica Desert, do we have anything interesting that we encounter? So this is our travel encounter. 10, we have a finding. So we find something interesting on the way. 40. A lingering power surge from an ancient artifact charges your suit's reactor. Gain 1 energy. So we are walking through through the Silica Desert, trying to get to the central part so we can begin an exploration. And something, as we pass by an area, a strange area, there we find something latch onto our power source. So we stand still for a bit, and we get like a near field charging starts happening, and we're not too sure where it comes from. So we do know that there have been some crystal conduits running inside the planet. So possibly there are those crystal conduits crisscrossing underneath where we are. So we got +1 energy from that in our findings on the way. So we get to the desert and we are going to attempt to start exploring around the desert. We have 3 data that we can add onto it, and we can convert 2 of our resources to 1 data using our tool, giving us a total of 4 data that we can burn and add onto our D10 roll. 7 + 4 gives us 11, which will put us in 10+, which means that within here we get, so we had a finding, so we have a challenge, an opportunity, a finding, and an aspect in the end if we get it all. So let's go through and see if we can get to our aspect, and then at least we can get 1 aspect out of today's game. So first off, we're exploring around this desert. We will encounter some form of challenge. Oh, 08. What's an 08 challenge? A strange source projects replicas of alien entities. these apparitions seem real and react to your presence. So possibly these entities are actual, which would help us, our actual flora. So we have an alien artifact projecting flora. So that means that what we're going to attempt to do is try and break into this artifact, because it obviously has some form of repository or catalogue itself of the flora on this planet. Now we have survival, which we know is 8, engineering, which is a 5, communication, which is a 6, or IT, which is a 7. So survival is an 8, but IT is a 7. But we can get an advantage on IT if we burn 3 energy, and we do have 3 energy. So we might utilise the 7. So we're going to use IT to try and get into, identify where this is, maybe latch into its Wi-Fi signal. So it's try and see if we can latch into its signal to gain access to the repository and see if we can get some of the information out of the repository. Now we won't get anything because it's just a challenge, but we will interpret the rest of the things from this that we roll as though we have got into this repository and we're trying to get the information out. So we get to roll with advantage if we burn 3 energy, which we do, leaving us only 1 energy left. And we need to get under 7s, which is our IT, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7s and under. So we didn't even need it, so we'd remove that. So we get a hard success. So we're able to crack open the data repository and get into it. And then we get an opportunity. So we have an opportunity, now we're into it. 73. 73, you encounter an alien art installation which conveys encoded data. Deciphering it provides 3 data and right. So this art installation is actually the flora repository that we've just got into. And we can see that it contains lots of information within its catalogue, and now we have to try and crack it. So we have communication on a 6, or IT on a 7. Now we can't reuse our reroll because we have no energy left to do that. In fact, we have no energy left at all. So we need 7s. 4 and 1. Yay! So we get, because if we failed on this, or even our partial success would be okay, but a fail would mean that we would fail the whole of the rest of this thing and we couldn't get our aspect. So we get 3 data by cracking in and being able to interpret. And so we spend quite a long time filtering through the catalogue, filtering through the repository, trying to decipher what the meanings of some of these symbols are and some of the words. We can see the pictures of all the flora, but we don't know or understand some of its traits. And so after a period of time, we have now accrued a large amount of data on the flora in the area. So that is, next we have a finding. So what useful thing do we find within this repository? 20. A derelict power station still holds a small charge, gain 1 energy. So whilst we're actually doing this, we can siphon out 1 energy as we're processing the data. Or maybe we are putting on our solar panels, and because we're sitting here so long just processing information, we think we might as well take advantage and recharge slightly. So we recharge 1 energy, and then with all of that we then have our final thing, which means we've gained our aspect. So with all of this new insights into the flora of the place where we are, we're able to gain one aspect to be able to then maneuver back and then find somewhere where we can find our last aspect and build our repository, our catalogue, our own catalogue of the flora in this place. So we'll go and have a look at so we've got 3 data, which gives us a good advantage. But if we had 6 data, we will definitely be able to get our next aspect. So we need 7s, so we'll collect data again, which is analytics, which is 4 plus 3, which is 7. We have a weak success, which means we can get half, which is 1. So instead of re-rolling, gain data equal to half your analytics trait rounded down, which is a partial success. So I'm just going to gain 1, giving us a 4, which hopefully will be enough when we attempt to move on. So what we will now do which I think we have enough time for one more. We're going to have a look and see if there's another location which might help us. 36. Vortex springs, interesting. Natural springs that don't just gush water but create mesmerizing vortexes. So within these vortex springs that we identify, maybe there is life here. Maybe after looking at all these deserts and places where life used to be, we're now trying to identify somewhere where the life might flourish. So we will head off towards the vortex springs. 10, a finding. That's useful. We could do with data. Magic tables we could do with data. So we head off towards these springs. 20, I'm going to call that a 7. 27, 1 data. You discover a preserved alien device, maybe in the springs. As we get to the springs, there's one in there and the springs aren't really affecting it. We study its technology and we gain 1 data from studying the technology of the alien device within the springs. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5's okay. 5 gives us +5. So we're going to now see if we're proper at the springs. They're quite a large expanse of various different whirling vortexes of water coming out. So once when I went backpacking, camping with 2 of my mates, and we had quite a long lunch, which turned into an evening at a pub, and then rolled out and attempted to find somewhere nearby that we could camp. And we found this large field that we could camp in, and because we weren't really paying attention, we didn't notice the symbols on the map, which basically showed that the field was a spring. Thus, in the middle of the night, it flooded. So it was quite a big expanse as well, and that's what this is, but this is vortexes. So we're standing there as tiny amounts of all these vortexes of water come out and life is abundant around us, and we're going to attempt to see if we can gain any information, an aspect, from here by burning all of our data, 5 data. We don't have enough resources to supplement that, so we have 5 data, 5 plus 10. We didn't even need it. So we get a challenge, an opportunity, a finding, and an aspect at the end of it if we pass all of these tests. Now we don't have many, we have 2 energy, so we can do our re-roll. And we don't have any resources or anything else. So first off, we have our challenge. So what challenge do we find in this area of springs? 56. The ground starts shaking violently as a quake takes place. So we have a quake. So maybe with all these springs that the area is a bit unstable. So a quake hits. Engineering, physics, navigation. Now navigation, we do get a 1 reroll. Navigation for us is a 7. Physics is a 6. Engineering is a 5. So we'll use navigation, which is 7s, and we get 1 reroll. We reroll the 10 to an 8. Okay, so we get a partial success, which is okay. So we get 1 strain as we're attempting to hold still as another quake goes off and the ground begins to crack, and we have to dodge to the side, but that injures one of the storage units within at the back of our pack, causing the strain that we can't get rid of at this point. So our challenge is a partial success, but it still counts as success. So what opportunity comes from all of this quake hitting the area? Oh, we'll turn that to a 25. What's 25? You discover a cloud of dormant nanobots. Gain 2 data and 3 resources on a success. Okay, so robotics, which is a 6, and communication, which is a 6. So we will attempt to use communication and communicate with these nanobots, which is 6s. We've got 1 success and not. So we burnt that 2 energy on the reroll, last reroll. Oh no, that was an energy. So we have 1 reroll because that was our navigation reroll. Was that our navigation? I think so. Can't remember. But I'm saying we get a reroll. Very kind to us. 3. So we successfully, but we burnt that 2 energy, so we have no energy left. We successfully, 26. A cloud of dormant nanobots. So we gather up these dormant nanobots that we find floating in the water, in the vortexes. We gain 2 data and 3 resources, which puts us at 4 resources. So that is nanobots. Now we have our finding. So what do we find? Maybe we can glean something from these nanobots. 06. An exposed energy conduit hums with power. Safely siphoning something for your suit is possible. Gain 1 energy. So maybe this is from those nanobots. We work out how to activate them and get them to do a energy transfer into us, giving us +1 energy. Not that we can use much of this. I don't think we can use any of this actually by the time we get back. Which means that we have gained our last aspect. So +1 energy from bots. And then we get our last aspect. So we are able to gather our last aspect and head back. I don't know if there's anything we could actually do. I don't think we can get anything useful from this side quest. There's nothing, we can't do an upgrade. Everything will reset. We don't need we've not got anything that's damaged us. We can't gather enough resources to actually utilise, because then we couldn't do an upgrade anyway. So instead, we are just going to finish building our flora repository, which gives us a single dice roll in biology action. So we get a +1 reroll. We can re-roll 1 biology dice in an action roll. It's because of our successfully building our flora catalogue. And we also get to have a new discovery, which will be the last thing we do for this session. A sentient artifact. You encounter an artifact that appears sentient, capable of communication. It reveals fragments of a narrative about a civilization of AI synthetics that eventually transformed into biological entities, echoing the IAP's own research. Ooh. So there were a group of AI synthetics that eventually became biological beings. Maybe this is the history of Earth. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. And that is where we will leave today. And we will pick up again our adventures with Welcome in the universe and the game of Entity in our next session. If you have enjoyed what you have watched, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing so you can see when the next episode comes out. And if you have any comments that you'd like to make, please do. If you'd like to try the game, do so. There's a link in the description of here. Peter watches these as well, Peter Schultz. And so if you've got any questions as well, if you post them here, he might see. Otherwise, you can go to Drive Through RPG and contact him. But it's a beautiful book. Give it a go, and we can try again in the next session next week, where I will see you there. Goodbye.